it kind of helped them advance. I mean, do you think this was a conspiracy?
Gotta go with Jacob Butter. Gotta go lefty.
No, we're talking about the players. That's tournament champion into the podcast.
There he is, right there.
Oh, he doesn't even know how to watch. Go to youtube.com and search Down Lane Podcast. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Down Lane Podcast. We are streaming live from the lab at Town and Country Lanes. I'm your host, Kyle Haines, and with me is the assistant to the host, Anthony Scaccia.
Thank you.
Thanks, Austin. How's it going tonight, Austin?
Tired.
You're always working.
How dare
working.
How dare I?
Ridiculous.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. This is Kyle Haines, the host of Down Lane Podcast.
Are you all right?
Yeet.
All right. On tonight's episode, we are talking about lessons. Every bowler's favorite topic.
Didn't we talk about this a few years ago?
No, I don't think. Maybe we did. I don't know.
We did.
If we talked about it a few years ago, what's up, Nick?
It was during COVID.
Maybe. Then
Right?
it needs to be brought up
You went
again.
to Vegas. It's when you went to Vegas.
All right.
2 years ago.
Okay.
Okay.
3, actually, I think.
Trace.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that. What else are we gonna talk about? Oh, the Open Championships are going on. So we talked about it last week, but we're still gonna talk about it again because it's important. And then there was a poll that I saw on the internets that I think is fascinating, and kind of ridiculous. So we're gonna talk about that as well.
Redonk.
Before we get into all that, don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel. Check out the Etsy shop where you can find all of the merch, the shirts, the hats, the you-know-whats. You can always email us at downlanepod@gmail.com. And if you can't watch on YouTube, Facebook, or the X, you can download and listen using your favorite podcast service. All that being said, how'd you guys do this week?
In what?
The bowling.
In bowl.
We bowled some.
Not really.
Golden League.
Yep.
League that Nick and I are kicking your guys' butts in.
Well, we won 4 actually. Last Thursday.
Yeah, you can win 4 all you want. We're still kicking your butt.
Long way to go. How many weeks we have left?
2, I think.
Okay, all right.
I think it's 2 after tonight.
Yeah, 3 total.
Well, we have a good matchup tonight. We're facing Phil and Tom, and they're right below us, very close in team average. So it's going to be a little bit of a tough match. But I think we're in like 5th or 6th right now, so we're right on the cusp. And we're right where we need to be with 2 extra position rounds coming into play because I don't want to bowl the top end teams 2 weeks in a row. I want to come up from the rear.
I have mentioned that's the way to do it.
Yeah, it seems like that is the best way to do it. I've been in first in this league for like 12 weeks and then lost it in the last 2 weeks, even though we like split or lost by 1 or 2. It's just the other people just win more points. So it's a little bit, I think we're in a good position. Jambird's bowling really good right now. She's got a few new balls to throw, and let's hope that she bowls well and we can win 4 or 5. That's all we're trying to do at this point. My personal performance is no longer valid anymore. I'm just trying to win points because I'm bowling poorly.
She's got the attention star now, right? And the Sublime?
Yeah, the attention star and the Sublime. Yeah, she likes the Sublime. It's a little clean for her. It probably can knock the gloss off. It's a little bit of a longer hook zone than the attention star for her. The attention star is a little bit cleaner and,
Snip snap.
Not really. It's a little bit more forward than I expected for her. But then we also drilled her a brand new defender, one of her favoritos, the OG defender, not any of the new ones. The OG, the best one they had. We drilled that up for her second one. So we'll see if she has to use that ball tonight or not. But she does have a fresh cover. She's got 3 fresh covers. So that's good for the air for her.
Hopefully we can see a little kneel down.
Oh, when she gets on the knee or when she does like that.
When she does the pray.
She does the scissors. She strikes and does the scissors.
Nice. Yeah. It's a good shot.
And when she's on, she does the toe tap at the line.
Oh, yeah.
She does the toe tap when ball hits the pins and she knows it's going to strike.
Yep.
I'm surprised I haven't had to replace that heel yet.
The toe cap
or the
on
toe
the,
cap on the heel
on the
or on
shoe.
the shoe. Yeah. Surprised we haven't had to do that because she bowls pretty well. So we'll see. We've got a good matchup, and I think you have a favorable matchup for you as well tonight.
I have completely forgotten who I'm bowling.
I'm bowling Tyler and Rich. So
Okay, so that is a favorable matchup for you. You got a higher team average, so that's in your favor. We're also the higher team average, so hopefully that we can make it happen a little bit. But
I'm gonna ask Nick who we're bowling tonight. But I don't know that you can't take any match for granted in this league.
there is. I didn't
Um,
say that it's a match for granted, but I said it is in favor of the team because we are in a scratch league. So the team with the higher team average the match is in favor of them.
Well, I understand, and
Right.
welcome to the chat, Anita. Another good week. But no, I completely agree. I'm just saying you can't take anything for
I
granted.
think you're bowling Dave and George.
Even if you happen to be bowling Anita and Kyle,
Nick Harris answered you.
then I still think when he shows up and fires off 279.
Listen,
you know,
it can happen.
be
It's a
a tough
scratch
week.
league. It's a scratch league,
we're
but
bowling Dave Pangburn, so that's no walk in the park.
right. What I'm saying is that is a match, where you have the upper hand. It's like the Kansas City Chiefs against the Detroit Lions. Okay,
Mhm.
Kansas City has got a little bit of the better team, so the matchup is in favor of them. You are the favorites going in. There is no doubt about that. What I'm saying is a favorable matchup. I'm not saying you're going to win it, but it is a favorable matchup. It is a matchup that you can win, and you should win based off of team average. If something happens, of course it happens, but you're in a favorable matchup.
And now, don't get me wrong, headspace wise, head game, I'm going in believing that we're going to win it. I'm just saying,
yeah,
any team in this league has the ability to score on the lane.
anybody can win this league.
And,
Absolutely,
yeah.
any half they could win. Would you agree, Austin? It's a very strong league, top to bottom, with a lot of good players. I just think that you're in a favorable matchup. That's all I said. I didn't say you're gonna win. I didn't say it was easy. I was just saying it's gonna just be a favorable matchup.
Come on, Ryan, pick it up, Ryan. You got this game.
Just go back to the drills we worked on and think about that. Think about your execution before. Don't think about your result at the arrows. Think about your execution before the arrows.
That's
Ryan.
right. It
Get
all
out of the
happens before the foul line. So Austin, how'd you do this week?
I actually bowled a lot this weekend.
He did.
Yeah. There was a lot of games thrown by you.
Yeah, I went up to Hilltop Friday night for the firemen's tournament, and wow,
I hear that's a fun tournament.
it's a fun tournament. If you throw the ball decent, tough to score.
Just
What's
for
that supposed to
reference, Hilltop is a all wood center.
I think they have permalane too.
It is an older wood center,
I
so
believe
it's
they do.
Yeah.
And they
permalane.
Yeah, it's like a skim coat of, or like it's literally like a plastic surface over the old wood.
Like a synthetic cover almost.
Yeah, I mean it's still wood, but it's like a plastic covering over
They
the
pushed
the
it.
wood.
They pushed it before synthetic actually came out.
Huh.
Um,
I've heard of permalane, but I just didn't know they had permalane. I thought
What's
it was all
up,
wood.
Chris? Welcome to the chat, buddy.
So, yeah, they flood the lane, and we happened to have the only pair that hooked.
What pair was that?
The end pair they were using.
Okay, high or low?
High.
Oh.
So, Kyle's computer gonna die.
No.
No, it's just Andrew Hall liked the video.
Oh.
Thanks, Andrew.
What's up, Mop?
So it was a little difficult because the right lane, the ball hooked at your toes, no matter what your style of bowling was. I mean, the down and in guys hooked at your toes. I moved in, hooked at your toes, moved right, hooked at your toes. So I jumped like,
I heard you
15,
hooked it a little bit.
yeah, I jumped like 15, 16 left and just faded the ball to the right of the head pin. And it never hooked.
You didn't try to Brandon Boyer it and just loft it?
There was no loft. It still just hooked.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was. I suspect. I mean, judging by watching everyone else bowl, our pair was so dramatically different. I'm thinking they ran out of oil, and they didn't notice. But yeah, I jumped like 15, 16 in, and just played a fadeaway on the head pin and shot 288.
Hello.
There you go, 204, 204, 288.
That gets you close. That's good. That's all you need. One big game in 3 games.
And then Sunday I bowled here at TNC in the morning in the Albany Association tournament.
Skipping the club tournament, by the way, I might add.
Yep, I did skip the club tournament.
Then you went and bowled another tournament after.
I know.
I did not bowl good here, and I realized I had time to make it over to my reservation over at Sportsman's for the Schenectady Association.
Jesus, you are nuts.
And
What'd you shoot on here?
590.
Really? I thought you were whacking them.
No.
I heard the house shot was hard.
Somebody told me you bowled really good.
I don't even think I threw the ball good.
Somebody told me that you were bowling really well. I was running around, so I didn't really.
Pete bowled really
Pete bowled
well.
well.
Pete had 700.
Huh. Which bowler, Richie?
Over at Sportsman's, I went 650, and I bowled with Nick and Joe Pekowitz, and Nick absolutely lit it up. So we are currently in second in scratch over there.
Hello.
Although I heard Anthony and Fazone are going to bowl.
Yeah, I got asked to bowl.
Wow.
I got asked to bowl. It was, it was
cool
an
kids.
honor.
I don't know
Cool
if
kids.
the top scorer is going to hold it.
It was an
they'll
honor.
get in their own heads. Don't worry. And they'll have two people on the same side of the lane. They're like, I don't know what to do.
We are very used to that now, by the way. He texted me and said, "What are you doing this weekend on Sunday?" And I said, "Besides icing my body after this dodgeball tournament I'm about to win, nothing." He's like, "All right, 12 o'clock, we're gonna bowl at Sportsman's in the trio tournament. Are you in?" And I was like, "All right." So I'm in.
Who's your third?
I don't really know who it is. Don't remember. I think he told me. Don't remember. I just said yeah. I didn't know what we were bowling. I said yeah, I'll bowl.
But speaking of trios, we have the first place, as far as I know, position holder in the chat.
Anita.
Yeah. Who happened to shoot his very first 800 game triple. So congratulations to Anita. Well done. 817.
Yeah.
Not too shabby. And in a trios tournament for the association.
It counts. It counts.
Counts big time.
260, 279, 278, I think you shot.
That's wild, man.
A lot of strikes.
Way to go. Well done.
Not only congratulations on that, but he also won the tournament club.
Tournament club. On the real stuff.
He won the tournament club.
He destroyed him too. Like
So
except for the first game. But then he went on a tear.
So you're telling me
Sandbagger.
he figured out the gray board does not hook?
He is getting there. He is getting to understand the gray board doesn't hook. But he did win. He shot 130 the first game, I think, or something.
That's
And
what
then
he said to me.
and he bowled really well after. By the way, the 800 came with a brand new out of the box ball. Never
That's crazy.
I think he threw it Friday night. He drilled it, and it was like 11:30. He's like, it was like 11:40, and we closed at midnight. And he drills it. So I was like, yeah, good. I was like, you want to throw it? He goes, are you sure we have time? And I was like, yeah, I'll hang out. So he threw it for like a game, no score or anything. Just threw it on the lane to make sure it fit right. And then he came out, and I saw him in the first game shoot 260. And I said, man, I'd love to sit in here and watch, but I went to go watch Mayor Mike go bowl at Sportsman's.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody said he needed 270 or the first strike in the 10th for 800. I said, geez, he killed it. Good thing I put him in a bracket. They needed one player to fill a bracket, so I gave him $5 for Jake, and he ended up winning the gosh darn thing.
Nice.
Reality check is the ball he drilled. I don't remember the layout. I think it was 30 by 5 by 60. And it rolled really well for him. Rolled really well. So congratulations to Jake. He had a heck of a weekend. He did 800, won a tournament club, and we'll stop there.
Who was the other
Why?
division?
He also had a
winner
270 game on Thursday nights this past week.
Oh, okay.
He bowled really good.
He's
He is bowling a lot
featured.
better.
He's featured in the the vlog video.
Yeah,
too.
he did an awesome trip 4-9.
Yep.
Phone
That was great.
Halo.
So and then JP also won the tournament.
Congratulations to JP.
He just destroyed them.
Yeah, well, when he bowled good. When he gets him a little bit long, a little bit of volume, and he saws on that son of a gun.
Zing! He starts the lawnmower for sure.
He does, and he's got that big, long backswing, but it's not a herky jerky, but it's smooth.
No. He's
It's
a smooth player. Yeah.
He's a smooth operator up there.
Yeah.
He's got this big, long arm swing. He's a big guy. He's a lanky guy, and he just gets right back under the ball and throws it so good.
All right, so here's the question. Anita has now won a total of 2 tournaments, right?
In tournament club?
Yeah.
Does that mean
Yeah,
he goes to
he's
Division
getting
One?
Can we move him up?
I don't know. Well, tournament club is over for the year.
Yeah, I know. We're talking about next year.
We did run our 6 events, which was good. We gave away 10 balls, 6 events. I think everything went pretty well. Do you move him up? I don't know. Jake, did you win one last year? He didn't win 2 this year, did he?
No, not 2 this year. I think he's won 2 total.
Does he run away with it though? He doesn't run away with it. He's
No,
always
he
never really leads.
I don't think he led. I think he
He was like 3rd or 4th.
I think he was the 4th seed actually.
Yeah.
Listen,
Brett-
that's not the point. I'm just trying to scare him out of his shoes.
Oh, Brett pulled good too. I will say, Brett, your game has improved tremendously since watching you bowl from the beginning. So glad to have you in the club too. You should beat Jake though, because nobody likes that kid. I mean Anita. He was a 3rd seed. Jake. Smith.
Thanks, Jacob.
Thanks,
Smith
Jake.
in the
Oh,
chat.
Jake. What up, Jake? We got a lot of people in here tonight.
So yeah, it was a good tournament club for a lot of guys. Some of the guys not so good. Maybe one in this room.
Well, Kyle, we talked about it, and
You didn't have a good day, Kyle?
It was a poopy day. I've had a lot of bad days so far this year, except for when Nick and I cashed together. He's holding me up. But I will tell you this. All right, let me just say this. All day long, I probably threw the best I have in a long time. At least Thursday and Sunday, the 2 days that I threw the ball really good. And I was actually accurate. I was targeting perfectly. So it was a wrong ball choice. But I used a lot of different bowling balls, and I couldn't strike at all
day.
A
surface choice.
Right. Yeah. So but had I made the surface adjustment that I made last night during practice, I probably.
I've been telling you to make a surface adjustment.
Yeah. Okay. Had I made that adjustment, I probably would have done a little bit better.
I think so. Hit his ball with 3,000, and the ball actually revved up a little bit better
in the mid lane, because that ball does not. So the attention star we're talking about does not read in the mid lane at all, and then it hits the friction, flips, and goes straight. Well, last night we added or touched it with 3,000. I literally just touched it. I didn't even put pressure on it.
Yeah. Gave her the scuff.
Yeah, and just took the shine off of it, and it read, I'd have to say, 5 feet sooner at least, and then actually continued through the pins, which was really nice to see. And that was on 2022 USBC Open Championships, I think was the correct year, right?
Yeah, it looked like it was pretty good. We drilled the hammer effect for Joey D, and his ball rolled really good. That ball looked really unbelievable.
Whoa.
He struck from all over the lane. Tom Anderson drilled a new hater. That one looked like it was pretty good too for him. It shapes really well for him. So it seems like we're just nailing a few layouts recently, nailing ball choices. Which is good.
Nick's 2-inch pin,
2-inch pin
reality check was stupid. Yeah. I don't think he didn't strike except for 2 shots.
He struck a lot with that ball, and it gets him straighter down the lane. So I think that we were in the pattern a little more to the right.
Of which, you need a 2-inch pin, Austin.
Oh yeah, they told me you need a 2-inch pin.
Yeah. So
you got a little straighter on the lane.
What ball?
You're gonna want to do an asymmetrical. Probably something that's a hybrid with a little bit of surface or a solid, because you don't want it to kind of whip down lane. You kind of want it to roll, be steady. We'll talk.
Yeah, he had 5 boards down lane. It was wild.
You're the ball, man. Just put some holes in one.
Like a perfect mindset might be a little bit too much ball. You're probably looking for something that's got like an 018 intermediate diff. Maybe like a defender hybrid might not be too horrible for you. A little bit lower intermediate. You strap it a little bit more than Nick, I think. Both you strap it. Let's both you hit it.
Nick's a little more smooth, I think, and Austin's got a little more of the ripcord.
Yeah,
I would say.
I think you could do like a defender. We'll take a look at some of the other stuff. I got to take a look at some stuff for you. You don't need a lot of intermediate, that's for sure, though. But yeah, we're all getting ready.
Might as well. We're already talking about it. Might as well. We'll segue right into it. Open Championships. I know we talked about it last week, but let's. There's
not a lot going on in the bowling world or the PBA world, but we keep seeing videos from the USBC.
Yeah.
So we might as well just chit chat about
it. Let's do it.
Do you have a comment quick?
Yeah, comment.
I saw on the Face Spaces, Rick Ramsey shared a post of a guy that was talking about the release of the pattern and whether they shouldn't. And he had some good arguments that I do kind of agree with.
Okay, go on. Since I recently changed my mind.
He was pretty much saying the early squads are at a huge disadvantage, especially since they post videos of the pattern.
Yeah, makes sense.
And
of the bowlers bowling.
On the pattern.
Yep.
So the guys in the later shifts have a lot more knowledge compared to the guys that go, the first month.
100%.
And he was pretty much just saying that like if you're gonna have that disadvantage by posting videos and stuff, what's the point of not just putting the pattern out?
Right. And also, or to back that up a little bit more, we literally have guys, or a guy at least, charting lanes, bowling balls,
area.
ball path.
Yeah.
Joey. And we love you for it, Joey, because
It does
none of
help.
us are diligent enough to do it, and it really does work.
He already knows what lanes. He's telling us
Yeah.
what lanes are hot right now.
Yeah, 13
Hey,
and 14,
yeah.
hottest pair in
He
the
goes,
house.
13, 14 is good. High end, no good so far. And we're like, what? He goes, yeah, no, yeah.
he's
they're all
our
here.
statistician
Okay.
right now when it comes to pre-tournament observations.
I will have to disagree, so I'll wait for you to finish. But
So
I,
anyway,
I
I'm just
do
saying,
disagree.
But Austin's right, and whoever the poster was that Rick Ramsey shared is right. The USBC says no videos allowed, right? Except I did see a video on YouTube today that was definitely not allowed. This girl kept posting or made a whole YouTube video of videos from the team tournament. Not a full video, but it was video of a bunch of different shots from the team tournament. None of them were helpful, but anyway, not being mean, I'm just saying none of them were helpful. But why will you make a rule that says no videos allowed and then post a bunch of shots from the tournament? And then, we can kind of make a judgment call. Okay, looks like urethane's in play, or it looks like the guys are playing pretty straight on this pattern and looks like they're hooking it on this one. You know what I mean? So, and
Yeah.
the guy's right. The people that go later, they get scouting reports, they get videos. The people that go earlier are at a huge disadvantage.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't really think it's very I guess you can say what do you think? I mean, yeah, sure, but everybody's ball rolls differently. You're gonna say, oh, you can practice on it at home and all the lane surface and the oil patterns are different, or the surface and the lane machines and all this. So there's a bunch of variables that go into that make it so people say you should establish the pattern and tell people, and then you can go practice on it because it will help people make better decisions. I think Mark said this: make better decisions out there, which I can understand. But to a certain point, it doesn't matter if you post them or not, because the better players are still going to be on top. It doesn't make a difference if they get scouting report or not, because you're going to walk in there with 6 bowling balls, probably regardless, unless
Some
you're from the
people bring
area.
8, but yeah.
We'll say 6 because that's what we do. And the players that can read the lane and can break down the lane are going to bowl the best. On the team shop, what are you going to practice? All you got to do is practice on an old one. You don't need this year's pattern. You work on how to break it down to the right, and then everybody takes a jump left. It's not rocket science. It doesn't matter what the pattern does. You're going to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again until you're blue in the face. Now, obviously, the Storm team, I think that is up there. They've been doing it for years, and they do well every year.
Yeah.
We've come a long way.
Yeah.
And we use the same strategy every year to get very similar results. It's just a matter of putting together a few more better shots or reading the lane a little bit better or bowling better in the third game. I think the idea of showing the pattern is, if they do, it's fine, I guess. But I think it could be more of a detriment to the players. I think we talked about it. I've kind of got a little bit different outlook. I think it could be a detriment because, yeah, you could bowl, let's go say here and Boulevard, and it's 2 completely different lane surfaces, but your attention star looks so good over there, but here it rolls like dog crap.
Yep.
Now you're like, now I need to drill 7 more bowling balls to figure out which one rolls good on both. Then you get out there and it never worked. You said, man, I wish I brought my attention star because it probably would have rolled good. So now you're giving people a ton of information. You're giving people overload. And now instead of making it easier to pick 6 balls where you pick your favorite 6 or a 1 pearl, 1 solid, 1 pearl, 1 solid, a sim, a urethane ball and a plastic ball, you're making it, well, now we're going to drill to get the desired reaction. And when we get out there and it doesn't work, oh, well, maybe they put the wrong pattern out, or maybe they did this. In this case, if nobody knows it, nobody can say the wrong pattern was out. And you can just try to teach the players how to break the lane down properly to bowl better and to read the lane better. It's actually enhancing the skill level. In terms of arsenal building, like people say, man, listen, in ball motion, I think we've talked about it recently. Yeah, your layout matters. Yes, your ball matters. But at the end of the day, your surface prep is going to be the most important thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta show up there and
you got to show up and be ready to bowl.
Bring all of the necessary surface pads so that you can adjust right before practice.
Right. And I think that the people who are a little bit upset about not having the pattern announced are at if they think they're at a disadvantage, I don't think so. The guys who read the lanes the best are going to bowl the best. Even if you miss a shot or two or a pin carry here or there, the best players that read the lane and the guys who are able to trick it the best or use their hand to get the ball to do what it's supposed to do are going to be the best.
So this just in.
Yeah.
Nicholas J's Pro Shop, 2012 Team Eagle winners.
Whack them.
Last game needs 1081 to
Take
tie
lead?
for the team lead.
Oh, good for them.
1082 for the team lead.
That's good.
They have Zach Wilkins on their team.
He's whacking them this year.
Yeah. Just a little 264, 278 to start.
Good for him.
They need to average 216 a man.
Well, when your one guy is shooting 270
every game,
and I'm pretty sure they're probably walled for him right now.
Yeah.
Chances are he's probably going to shoot 230, so he's going to save a guy, and then the other guy's got to keep it pretty close. Back to the conversation though.
Yep.
Then we get back into the video postings. I don't agree with you guys there either. I think it's kind of it's a one-shot thing, man. I mean, yeah, sure, you might watch the Storm guys. I'm going to say them because those are the last guys that I looked at. Or the guys who played right up the gutter. It looks like everybody's on the gutter in doubles and singles.
Oh man, it looks like they're straight.
Yeah. That's fantastic,
like.
and I'm glad that people are were to the right for the righties. They're much farther right than last year at Reno, so it tells me there's a little bit more skin in the front.
Yeah.
But also it's only one shot. How did the Storm team break the lane down? You don't know what ball they started with. Did they start to the right? Did they start in the track? Did they do this? Did one guy do that? No, you're just seeing the third game, the final few shots. Everybody's left because they can throw it to the right. And like we said, the same strategy we use over and over and over and over again. So that doesn't surprise me. For doubles and singles, I guess it's a little different because I think the breakdown's less because I think there's only 4 people per pair.
Yep, until next year.
Until next year. So I think that is something that, I could kind of get behind not posting as much of, because if you are in doubles and you bowl doubles first, you can see where they are game 3, and then say somebody whacks them and say they whack them in singles too, then you can see game 3 and game 6. You can see a little bit of transition there. But I don't think it's enough for most people to really get up in arms about. If you're going to ask me what Bill O'Neill's going to bring out there, I'll tell you he's going to pick his favorite 6 or whatever they want to drill for him out there, and he's going to make it work.
Or whatever they send him.
Exactly.
Literally,
whatever they tell him to bowl.
I'm fairly certain when, hey, did you guys know Bill O'Neill bowled with us 4 years ago?
Yeah.
However many years ago it was.
He used the future. I remember that.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he flew in, walked to the hammer booth, and picked up his bag. No. Like they had his bag waiting for him.
I bet you they sent, or they probably brought
they shipped it to
yeah,
him.
they shipped it out there. Yeah, but it probably wasn't from Brunswick. He probably had it on the truck or something. He's like, "Oh, ship it out there."
It was probably on the PBA truck or whatever, and then
probably got it.
Put it. Yeah, it got shipped to the casino. But it's like must be nice to be able to
I
walk in
get
and
that,
have your stuff there for you.
I
Which I guess
wonder-
we could do if we use Bowling Ball Express, but that takes a month to ship.
I wonder what your guys' opinions are on my thoughts, because I just don't think that it's that big of a deal. I think it's kind of an overblown thing. I guess for us too, it's harder to make ball choices because we are on the East Coast. We don't have the option to go there and look and all that, and it is more often out there. But still, if you're telling me right now you don't have 6 that you think you could make work,
I have my 6 picked.
Exactly. And what are we? We're in March.
Yeah.
And you guys already have stuff picked out.
I have 15. I could bring.
But that's what I'm saying. But you're gonna differentiate, and because of practice. Now I know people don't always get practice, but the guys who are really good out there practice. You don't go out there and not bowl for a month or two after league and go whack them. You don't do that.
No, you got to be tuned up.
Right. And most people who are trying to be more competitive out there are practicing, and they're working with their equipment to get it right, with their PSO or themselves with surface to play it right. So does it really matter?
I mean, to be fair, I am in agreement that what is currently going on is fine. But I understand where the guy was coming from.
Yeah.
And he didn't even say release the pattern. He said make it fair for every squad. He said it if you're gonna make it so I don't know what the pattern is, but then post videos for someone to possibly get an idea, that's not fair to the guys that bowled first.
Yeah, I can understand that. But how, like I said, how much of an idea did you get from watching the guys play on the gutter? How much of an idea did you get? Nothing, because you have no idea what the middle of the lane does. What if that you go out there and you throw on the gutter and your ball goes 60 feet? Well, they played the gutter. Well, it doesn't mean that you played the gutter because they played the gutter.
I mean, to your point, just like last year, we saw a bunch of guys get scores playing straight down the lane. I got there and I couldn't keep it off the head pin going straight down the lane, except in Bowler's Journal. Was
I don't remember that as much.
There were guys playing straight that
Sure.
they
What,
had
in the doubles
videos
and
of.
singles?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
I
Doubles
threw
and
your
singles.
thing to the right.
So did I.
Listen, special guys. I'm just saying.
No, I
I
understand.
couldn't keep the ball off the head pin, and there was
What up,
a bunch of
Juice?
videos of
Guys who are a little bit straighter.
and I was, but in doubles and singles, I had that look. Or I'm sorry, excuse me, Bowler's Journal, I had that look.
Yeah, but you went to bowl the regular
and
and
then
you were
doubles
gone.
and singles, and it was not the same.
Yeah.
Anyway,
False hope.
Point being, yes,
False hope if
videos
you know
do
what it
give you
is.
some false hope. Sure.
And if you put the pattern out and practice on it, and I look at this bottom row and say, man, I drilled 2 of those. That one rolls better for this pattern. And then I drilled that. Oh, yeah, we nailed that one. And these 2 roll good. And you go out there and the lane surface is different. The oil is different. You're not using the same one. They're not using the same oil. The atmosphere is different. Don't even forget to mention I don't mean the atmosphere as in like the tournament atmosphere.
No,
I mean
the
like
literal
the
weather.
literal weather.
Yeah.
And then you count in the real atmosphere of the event where everybody's amped up, man. This is the best event of the year to bowl.
Dude, you got to get there and you got to go.
Yeah. It's completely
Yeah.
different
Look
from
at
your practice session.
2
So
years
does it
ago.
really make a difference?
Look at 2 years ago when they didn't turn the air conditioning on for the guys in the morning.
Yeah.
We had guys in there at 7
No,
a.m.
It was broken.
and it was like 100 degrees in there.
Yeah.
We walked in and they were coming off doubles and singles. We're like, hey guys, and they're like, go after yourself.
Yeah, they were so mad at us.
They were sweating. They were soaked.
Listen, if they post the pattern, that's fine. Because then I can just see how much urethane I'm gonna need and how many balls I don't have to bring. But if they don't post the pattern, I'm still okay with not posting it. I can understand some of the gripes where the videos and stuff. I do believe that the field reports back. But let's remember this, people. You have the option to not tell them anything, or to just say, I don't know. This
Tough
ball
day
looked
today.
okay.
Yeah.
This ball looked okay. Nothing really looked good.
Right.
Oh, well, you whacked them. Yeah, but I was just kind of fishing. I didn't really bowl good. You're not required to give a field review.
Like the guy today, I don't even know who it was. You might remember his name. There was a guy that posted out there and said, might as well call this pattern leap of faith.
Yeah.
Because you're on the gutter, or not the gutter, but you're playing straight for 6 to 8 frames, and then you just go to the ball return.
Yeah.
So
you didn't have to tell people that.
right.
You could have
Like,
literally
thanks for
just
the info, but yeah.
kept your phone and just scrolled on by instead of typing a
Said,
post.
I had a great time at Open Championships.
Yeah.
Thanks. See you next year.
You don't have to, like, people keep saying, oh, well, they keep telling people and they get, I mean, of course, people are going to tell their friends and stuff.
Right.
But do you think about how much just goes around?
Yeah.
That's on the people. Like, if you don't want people to know, don't tell.
Right.
It's not the USBC's fault that you decided to open your mouth.
Right.
So for the people complaining about that as well and getting scouting reports, yeah. And for the staffers getting extra information because the pro shops are out there and then they report back, I understand that. But at the end of the day, I mean,
it's the world we
you
live
still
in
got to
now
go
with the internet
bowl.
and everything. Yeah.
You got to bowl.
You got to bowl. You got to put your shoes on. You got to let your ball be your guide, and then you got to actually throw the ball.
You can get as much as a scouting report as you want, and you could still shoot 1,400 for 9.
Yep.
It's a
100%.
fact. It's hard enough. So, what do you think about my points now?
So I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I still don't think it would be a bad thing.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
No,
I just particularly
saying
am not in favor of
But
it.
what I'm saying is I still don't think it would be even a bad thing just to say, here's the length ratio and volume.
Okay.
There's nothing
fine.
at least wrong with that.
That's fine. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
what do you? Yeah. Well, that's the other thing is you guys didn't really say, not you guys, but we haven't really had anybody like really dive into it. Are you just going to give those 3 things, or are you actually going to give a graph? Because now if you give a graph, you give me a huge advantage because I can read the graph,
right.
And I know exactly. Oh, I've bowled there before. Here's my notes. I can go to the old patterns. Oh, yeah, okay, and I know exactly what they mean, and now I can bowl
my
even better.
urethane's going to read here, and my urethane's going to read there.
Now you're going to give me even more of it. You're going to give me even more of an advantage if I can really figure out what I can do.
That's why I actually like what New York State does when we have our New York State tournaments. They say
the length of the ratio.
They say length ratio.
Oh no, length and
length,
volume. Volume.
type of pattern.
Yeah,
So they'll say
sport,
sport, challenge,
modified.
or
Well, I don't like the
whatever.
modified house what they put in because modified house could mean
It
sport.
could mean freaking anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you don't know what to bring.
Modified house is stupid. First of all, by the way, New York State, you shouldn't be doing a modified house for your Open Championships. Okay,
They usually don't. They usually do challenge.
challenge shot. But
Yeah.
so hopefully that's what that means. But modified house to me means it's going to be a recreation
Isn't
pattern.
it? Yeah. Anyways, we'll get to that later.
Side note. Okay. But yeah, I like when they, like for the Masters, for example, they say 42 feet sport compliant. And I think they even told you
They told you the milliliters.
The milliliters, 27, 28 mils or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So it's nice. Did I bowl good? Nope.
Yeah. I can understand
Not
that.
relevant, I guess.
I can understand that. But the other thing too is I think, people forget that, yeah, you can look at the lane graph and all the oil and all that stuff all you want, but in reality, the lane bed itself and the wear on it and the topography is really that's what's gonna really make the shot.
Yeah. 100%.
I read
and
it-
also so another side note, the topography report is from 2017 from
and they posted something the other day.
South Point.
Yeah, they posted something the other day. I think USBC wrote the lane moves like 3 or 4 times a year. It really
Yeah.
moves a lot. But they have a topography report from 2008.
2017.
Yeah.
So
So,
every
that's
time the weather changes, the lanes change.
Yeah. Now I did see a comment the other day. Now if this about the pattern, how is it relevant? You'll understand. Bill O'Neill saw the pattern at one of the Masters and bowled strictly off topography. He didn't even look at the pattern. He just looked at his notebook with topography and literally just played it.
When he was on our show 4 years ago,
He doesn't care about the blame pattern.
I literally asked him, I said, so what do you think about bowling on whatever the pattern it
Yeah.
was? And he goes, I didn't even know until you just told me.
Yeah, he had no idea. Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
we were bowling on that.
Right.
Usually just let my ball be my guide and kind of figure it out as
Yeah.
I go.
So, being blind is probably also a good thing. Well, blind into the pattern. that
Well,
is.
like what I said, you might drill 7 balls to go out there and none of them work.
And he
right?
showed up to the regional in South Glens Falls with 6 balls.
6 balls.
Crushed him.
Yeah, mashed him.
He's good though, by the way.
Yeah, he's only a little bit good.
Yeah, he might be good. All right.
Yeah.
Open Championships. It's in full effect.
It's
Get it?
going. We're ready to go. We're all
Volleyball.
getting ready.
Yeah.
I'm planning out some arsenals for people. We've got some guys getting some stuff. Kyle, I think you're kind of done for right now. Austin, I don't know what you're gonna add, but Nick Harris has got 2 or 3 he's got to drill up. I'll probably drill a few more balls before we go out there, and then
I just gotta.
Joey's gonna drill a few.
I just need the holes punched in the freshies.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that's right. You got some fresh ones. Janelle, I think she's pretty much good. Shank got 3 new bowling balls, so our team has all new bowling balls right now.
Let's go.
And then we'll have to see. I think some other people will drill some stuff, but we'll see what happens there. But yeah, it's in full effect. We're ready to rumble.
Full swing. All right. We are going to move on to lessons. Before we do, don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel. Hit that Etsy shop up. Check out the shirts, hats, Bowler's Bowl shirt is there. Thane Bang, Lefty Love, Will Bowl for Food. It's all in there
Stay in your lane.
for you. Is that up there?
No.
No. Okay. If you can't watch on YouTube, the podcast is in every one of your favorite podcast services. So head over there and you can listen there if you can't watch on the YouTube, just like Goat Juice did when he caught up on Spotify. All right. Did I miss anything? Oh, you can download it. You can email us at downlanepod@gmail.com if you guys have any questions, like we got a couple this week. All right. So lessons. You guys may or may not have known I'm bowling like absolute poo-poo, or have been.
No
So
clue.
not this past week though. This past week I kind of I worked on something this last Wednesday in our practice session, and I was talking to Art Hoffman. I was just like throwing it like crap. I'm like, I'm just gonna fire it, which you don't also want to do. You don't just want to force your arm swing through, because that's not going to lead to great shot making either. But I was throwing it better. I was being more accurate. So anyway, I booked a lesson today, and we worked on some things. So basically, that being said, when do you guys think it is the right time to get a lesson? How many lessons have you had, Anthony?
My whole life.
I'm a lesson in myself.
I think lessons are good.
I hear a butt coming.
No, there is no but. I don't. I believe in lessons. I just think that there's a correct time and a place. And I think it should be.
How about at your lowest moment?
For me, I don't think I would do it at my lowest moment. I wouldn't do it. Because here's the thing. When you're at your lowest moment, you're looking at all the bad and you're not looking at any positives, and you're really beating yourself up. So going to get a lesson, you're looking for somebody to absolutely change your game by 1 hour. And I don't believe that that's possible. If it's me, it'll probably take them like 10 minutes, and they'll probably just be like, "You're great, Anthony. I don't know what you need." But
what if, hang on,
Just
but
put
what if
your
you
thing
go
in
to
your
that
hand.
lesson and that's basically what they say? So, hey, everything looks really good, except you're just doing this one thing, and it's kind of like helps get you into that.
I guess.
And there's
for
like
me,
a couple of small little tweaks that you can do, whether it's ball adjustments and a timing adjustment.
I mean,
or something.
I can see that. Well, but I just don't think that at the time of your worst, that a lesson
So you should just sit there and struggle. And
is
everything.
the best. Well, no, I'm just saying. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on who it is. For me personally, at my worst, I'm not going to go get a lesson.
Okay.
Even in a slump. Like right now, I'm not bowling good. I haven't bowled good in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I've been competitive, but I also have to be honest with myself. I'm not sharp. I don't really practice anymore. I mean, I bowl league, but that's not like practice where I can do drills and stuff. The 1 week I did drills, I threw it really good, and then I got sick or whatever happened. Maybe I didn't get sick. I don't remember that time. No, it wasn't. I was throwing it good. But anyways, I just don't feel like at that time it's at my worst. Right now, it wouldn't be beneficial, because if I get a lesson and let's just say I went and got one and they literally said, "Well, your push away is too early." Well, yeah, I know, but I'm not sharp. But I usually when I'm sharper, it's a little bit different. Well, then you wasted 15 minutes or 30 minutes of that person observing you for something you already know. So then it's a waste of 30 minutes for me. I would get a lesson when I feel as if I'm sharp, regardless of my bowling skill. I would get it when I feel sharp. Because if I feel sharp and that person says, "Man, you really don't look good because your swing's doing this and doing that." Well, I feel good. But if you're telling me that that's making me be in the slump, that makes sense. But if I'm at my worst, I don't want to do that. I will do drills until I feel like I'm sharp again, and then I would get a lesson. That's my time, because I don't want to try to beat myself up over all these things. "Oh, you look good. You're just bowling bad right now." Well, that doesn't help me. That doesn't help me personally. If I feel sharp and I'm bowling good or bad, it doesn't matter. Maybe I'm just bowling bad and I just got to play the lanes better, and that means it becomes equipment. So that's my thought process.
Well, then, before we go on to the actual lesson stuff, then what are you going to do to get yourself out of that slump? What's your process?
What's the process? Don't be in one.
Okay.
I mean,
thanks, bud.
I think we should come to note that, like, Anthony is definitely taking this from his own bowling game. For someone that's newer and not as advanced.
Well, that's what I was saying. For me personally,
yes. Just in case someone hears half
Mr.
of this and is
Perfection.
like,
I'm not saying I'm perfect, so I was just kind of joking. But I mean, for me, what was the question you asked? I said,
understand.
"Don't be in a slump." When I would really get it?
Yeah. What would you do to get out of the slump? Or like what I said, I would get a lesson when I am at my worst, because I personally
That's your thought.
Personally, I feel like I would want the help. I don't want to go any longer bowling like absolute garbage, and I would work on it.
So for me, I feel as if I'm competitive enough.
Well, I haven't been.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So for me, if I go bowl a tournament, I have been very competitive with being not sharp. So there's no point to get a lesson to try to get sharp when I know what I have to do to get sharp and waste that time. I would rather just practice for a week, get to where I think, man, I'm really starting to get good now and I'm really sharp. My spare game's good. I'm not leaking it left anymore. I'm not getting around it. I'm clean off the bottom. I'm right where I need to be. Now let me get a lesson to see what this guy says to maybe further how sharp I can be. Or if he says, "Man, this is why your ball's leaking left, but you feel good," that's because XYZ happens. And because I'm sharp, I feel like I'm more in tune with my mind and my body to make those adjustments to be better. If I'm bad, I have no confidence. I don't feel as if I can make those adjustments, and my mind and my body are not working as one.
But if you're so bad,
okay. I'm not. Listen, I'm
Like
just talking
me.
about. I'm talking about my. This is me
I know.
personally, because on the top of my screen it says, "When is it time for a lesson?" So for my idea of it,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm not looking to like I'm not going to go to 250 from a lesson. I'm not going to get 20 pins off of it.
Right.
So for me, at this level where I am right now, and I am being competitive, I know it's sharpness, and there might be a few things down the road that I could change. But right now, for me, I don't think I need too much help. I just need to get sharp, and that's when I would go ask for help when I feel good. If you're uncompetitive and you don't feel good about your game, and you don't feel like you can compete for other people, that's when I would go get one. But I wouldn't be searching for an answer in an hour of time. I would be searching for things that I can work on to go forward, if that makes sense. There's not going to be an answer to make you go back.
No, there's never an answer in an hour of time.
Exactly.
Like you either have to keep going to a lesson or you get drills to work on.
Yeah.
Like today, for example, I have been extremely since January. Is that the last? Is that when? No, February. February. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's like the last time I cashed, I think, and since then it's been horrific. And it could be surface. I know that I'm not sharp at the bottom, but today's drills or lesson, whatever you want to call it, got me to get the ball clean off my hand, which I haven't felt in
ages,
a long time.
So that for you, you're looking for help to get out of that slump or those issues.
Right.
That's like, as we say in our top of our screen, when is it time for a lesson? So for me, in my mind, right, for somebody like me, what I said is when I'm looking for a lesson. For you, it's when you're looking for a lesson. For people who are lower averages or are trying to improve, always get a lesson when you're trying to improve. I'm not looking to raise my average. I'm looking to just repeat a little bit better, get a little sharper, and maybe talk about a little bit of ball motion. I'm not really, and how to play the lane. I'm not looking for, okay, your timing is off here. This is that. You need your arm swing to go this way. Okay, now you got to get your hand here at the bottom. No, I don't need all that.
No, that's not what we're talking about. Yeah, like for me, like something was horribly off, clearly.
Okay.
Because I couldn't repeat and I couldn't even at some point hit my target or get the ball to read properly. Go ahead.
I think because I think most people that want a lesson have something in their game that they cannot figure out or even acknowledge.
Typically, yes, I agree.
And like the higher echelon bowlers, like your scratch bowlers, they tend to understand what their body's doing a lot more than your lower average bowlers.
Right.
So like I'm kind of with you, Anthony. I mean, I've never really had a true lesson growing up. I've just
I don't really think you need one
around.
Yeah.
And not to mention, I had your father and my father sitting behind me every time I bowled here, telling me whether I was doing something right or wrong.
Which is why you don't need a lesson.
But for me, the only time I'm going to get a lesson is if I have exhausted every idea in my head to try to get rid of something that I'm doing that's causing a bad effect or change something that once I changed it, now I'm stuck in a spot where things don't feel right. Like most of the time I end up figuring out something that makes it feel better. Like Monday night, I moved 6 inches back on the approach and all of a sudden my timing felt the best it's felt in months.
Mm-hmm.
And it just such a stupid, simple thing that I just finally got rid of my arrogance and made the adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
I think those changes naturally make your body. I think the different feeling.
It forces it back.
I just think the different feeling makes it change for a while. Because like for me, I'll move back on the approach and I'm like, wow, this feels really good. And then I'll feel like crap again. And then I'll be like, a year later, I'll move up on the approach. Like, whoa, this feels like it used to feel. And then I'll move back on the approach. Like, whoa, this feels like it used to feel. Like
one thing I have noticed when I do travel to a spot that has approaches that are not like these,
everyone's
and
different.
say like the dots are a little farther back, and I don't read that in my head. All of a sudden, I've changed my timing without knowing.
Yeah.
And if it feels good, my body's going to want to stay there. I come back here, do a shorter approach.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's like, what the heck's going on? I was lined up in the same spot as I'm always lined up in.
That's what I was going to say, because we went to Bud Bowl, and some other events. And I've been throwing a lot of urethane. So a lot of times I tend to be on the slower side when I throw the urethane ball. So I've actually moved up on the approach. And just from tournament play, I'd prefer to bowl well in tournaments. I'd prefer to bowl good in league, but tournaments,
A little more important.
Right. So for me, I actually moved around in the approach, and I move around to get it comfortable so I keep my ball speed where it is. So after Bud Bowl, I was running like 15 miles an hour, and I got really close to the foul line because I wanted to keep my feet really short and kind of slow so I could control everything a little bit more. Well, when I came back here, I was super short. So then I went way back to where it kind of was normally, took a few steps, and then I was like, oh, that's why my ball speed's so low, because I'm trying to keep my feet slow. I'm only traveling this far. Instead, my feet don't need to go this far now. So my ball speed can pick up because I can go a little faster and have some bigger steps to create some more power. So I think that that's the other thing that's important to note is that, all approaches are different. So when you go to different centers or you work on your game at different centers, that's why it's important to kind of take a few steps or figure out your routine or how many feet away from the foul line if you just go there to figure out where you really
reverse approach from the foul line to the dots
from where you really should be. But that's not on the lesson. This is completely off topic. But I will say for the lower average bowlers, I'm going to cut you off, Kyle.
Go ahead.
People who are not like myself, where they're just not, they're smart.
So perfect.
Where they're smart. No, where they're smarter. You're probably going to have a lesson every once in a while. If you're trying to improve your game, and you're trying to get a higher average and you're just starting out, I would recommend a lesson to get you in the right fundamentals to start so that way you don't have to worry about as much. As soon as you get a little bit better, I feel, when is it time for another lesson? Obviously, if you're not doing as well. But if you go up an average and you say you start at 170 and now you're 190 and now you've plateaued, right? You're right where you're right here. You're not going up. Okay, now go get your next lesson. See where they think you are from previously, or if you switch people, whatever, see what they think. And then hopefully you increase again. And then when you plateau a little bit, go get another lesson until you plateau and you're enough plateaued to where you really aren't going to go higher. If you plateau at 205, that's fantastic. But be the best 205 bowler you can be, and could maybe have a lesson once every, maybe twice in the bowling season.
Right.
I would say maybe twice might keep you sharp, give you some new drills.
Better in the off season if you want to, or if you can, because
that would be your improvement time, I think.
Yeah.
I think during league or during bowling season would be maintenance. The off season would be more often or more
or change to your game if you're in that level where you can, or where you should,
if you are
change
not
your
bowling
game.
tournaments in the summer.
Speaking of off seasons, I might go back to a 6-step approach in the off season.
6 steps.
But I don't even know what I do. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, slide. 1, 2, 3, 4, slide.
All right. So real quick, let me ask you this question. Yeah, it's 5 steps. So if back to the upper echelon players, why is it that basically every serious player, professional that is, has a coach? And we won't call them lessons, but has a coach. Lessons, coach, whatever. They have a coach and they get coached, have lessons.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Why are they not afraid to get lessons?
I'm not afraid to get a lesson.
I'm just asking the question.
Because they want to make millions of dollars.
Well, I'll be honest. Who is Tom Brady's coach?
Dude, you're asking the wrong guy.
Bill Belichick.
Oh, yeah, no, but he's not the quarterback's coach.
Yeah, but the quarterback's coach, yeah, I guess, but still the quarterback's coach doesn't really.
I'm talking about individual sports where you have to seek somebody to perfect your skills, and I guess that's still a quarterback's coach. But
I like Brett's comment. I like Brett's comment to try to be better in the modern game. I like that.
I'm talking more bowling, golf, tennis. These people that have individual coaches that coach them day in and day out.
Why? I don't know. I really don't know. I can't give you an answer. I think a lot of guys are looking for a second eye to make sure that they still are fresh because they are bowling for a living. So they don't have the opportunity to get in a slump or to bowl bad. Let's take example Darren Tang, for example. He didn't have a great PBA year last year, I don't think. And he's still struggling a little this year. But he's got Mark Baker out there. Yeah, he's got Mark Baker. He's trying to get back. I mean, they all have coaches because they're bowling against everybody else, and they all have coaches, and they're all fantastic, excellent players. So for them, they're trying to keep improving at smaller things or ball motion, or just trying to get more that little bit hair of a consistency.
Here's a question: what do you think they're possibly telling them to do? You know what I mean? Like What is that
Probably
tiny
small
little? I know,
adjustments.
but what is that tiny little adjustment that you think
We're
they're
probably
telling
talking
them?
minute things,
I
like
know, that's
like
what I'm
literally timing, swing things. Like we're talking like they're trying to change like these things.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
They're
how
trying
small?
right.
What is that small minute
So-
thing? Is what I'm wondering.
So that's my thing. We've talked to Tom Anderson quite a bit about this. Bowlers fall back into the same problems they always have
Muscle memory.
because it doesn't matter even if you worked on it. If you have late timing, 99% of the time you're going to be late. If you revert. If you're good timing, you're going to revert back to late. If you're early, you're going to revert back to early because that's just what your body does. Like that muscle memory, you're going back to what it is. I think they have a coach all year to keep them, updated, this, that. They're probably tweaking some small things here and there. If you're asking me why I don't have a lesson and they do, are you saying I'm better than them? No, or I'm better than them? No, I'm not better than them. I think that some people seek fresh eyes or more eyes because they're looking for they're looking for the secret. What? Why? Right. Why do you think people play around? Why do you think the pros play around with so many fit changes in the summer? A lot of them do fit changes. They're looking for the holy grail that's going to make them unbeatable.
Makes it
Everybody's
easier to
looking for the
succeed.
edge. And if this guy thinks that you as a coach has Mark Baker, he's the best coach in the world, they
Right.
say, or what have you, is world renowned. Well, I'm going to go see that guy because he's probably got something that's going to make me better. Now, if he does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But the pros, they make a living at it. They're trying to find a holy grail that doesn't exist, I don't think.
No.
So I think that's kind of what it is. In my
Although,
opinion, it would be more for just maintenance.
It is interesting how Brett was just saying that the game has changed, right? Like there's the traditional game, now there's the modern game, but it's funny to see how the lessons have changed over the years. Like, you go from straight across your chest and your shoulders are straight across, your feet are straight at the target, everything is perpendicular and parallel, whatever. And then all of a sudden you see this big switch to wide open.
Yeah, you want to get
big
your
arm
open.
swing, right? Now it's not even, nobody's even subscribing to that necessarily. It's kind of like everybody has their own game now, but
they still have their cookie cutter way of doing it, but it's not as much.
There's still, now it's kind of, the thing is what we were talking about today in my session was keeping your body upright longer. Like I feel like when I learned, and even not that long ago, you used to get into like a crouched position and stay there, and now
that's hard to do.
It's like you stay up,
to go down,
and you walk, and then you move forward into the slide, and it's like
I was telling my dad about that
with
today.
that arm swing. It's very strange, but now that's the thing that everybody's doing. It's like, it's just funny how there's always a thing. You know what I mean?
Well, you want to walk straight, but I think even though you walk straight with your back up, that's fine. But everybody's body goes from this way, and then they spine tilt. They go this way, so they don't bend their back, and they don't get in that position like you're saying.
Right. I'm not saying you go to the line like
no
back straight up. I'm just saying you get to that bent
right
position, but it's just weird how I used to crouch over, and now it's not the way anymore. The way, quote unquote. But
I think that's
funny
true.
how the game constantly evolves. There's always something different. But then you look at the two-handers. How do they all start? They're all like, except for Kyle Troop. But
I think it's funny because I believe Mo taught I believe it was Mo started where you get really crouched low and you turn, like Kegel wants you like this and turn low and
right,
weight back and all this. I just feel like when you get up there, this is the way I looked at it because I played baseball, as we all know. So as a hitter, you get up there and you got maybe 4 at bats, 3, usually 3, but you got maybe a 4th. When I get in that box before the pitch comes, I'm going to be as comfortable as I can be before I start my swing because I don't want to be uncomfortable. I got to be comfortable. I've only got, let's say, 15 pitches that I'm going to possibly see. Well, 15 is a lot. Let's say I'm going to see 12. I'm going to be in that box for 12 pitches. I'm not going to be uncomfortable. If I'm on the approach, I'm not going to get uncomfortable to where my body's going to want to get out of the position because if I'm low like this or leaned, my body's not going to want to, and I'm like crouched, I'm not going to want to stay there because my body doesn't want to be there. I'm going to want to come out of it because you can't walk like this.
Right.
How are you going to get a backswing? You're already crouched over. Everything's gone already.
You want to be in the position your body wants to be in.
Exactly.
Sure.
So for me, I feel like you can just be as
you're pretty vertical anyway when you walk.
I am vertical.
Yeah,
I am
on your
vertical.
approach.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm going to change. I'm just saying that's just how I'm a feel guy.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just going to be that. I guess that's why my perspective of the lesson would be I want to be sharp and feel good before I get a lesson because I want my body to feel good. I don't want to think about it while I'm going to the lesson like, oh, I got to do this. If my body and mind are in tune for myself, I'm going to be able to have a more effective lesson because my body and my mind are working together and I can change it more. I recommend yoga.
Well, I'm doing Taekwondo, so you can suck it.
Well, yoga is also good. And why do I say this? Because this is kind of off topic, but
Even
it's
though
not.
I pulled my hamstrings.
Why do I recommend yoga? Well, yoga is because when you stretch and you're working your muscles to elongate them and to actually get into a better position, not only do you gain flexibility and you feel pretty all right when you're done, but you gain a little bit of flexibility. You're getting everything warmed up. The more important part of yoga is you actually learn where your body is because it's not a fast movement. You're slowly stretching your body out so you can see and feel where your body is and get an idea of where it is. So when you go do other things in life, athletic movements, stuff like that,
Other things in life.
your body, you're going to have better body control because your mind and your body are working more as one.
How much downward dog have you done?
I haven't done a lot of downward dog. I've done some warrior. I've done a little bit of warrior. I've done some of the I don't know, we just call them snakes where you did like one of those and you stretched out. I did a little bit of warrior back in the day. I've done some crazy poses where like I couldn't do them because my body doesn't move like that. Like I'm like stiff as a board. I'm like
I
plank.
thought you were a superior athlete.
Well, I am. Doesn't mean I have to be flexible. But I think that is also something where when you are taking lessons, you have to take into account and be realistic at what your mind and body work. Do they work together or do they not? And if they don't, highly recommend yoga.
All right, before we go,
sorry for the
good
rant,
conversation. Before we go, and I want everybody to put in your response to this because I saw a poll on the interwebs, and it was the following.
That felt good.
Who do you trust most, or who do you seek first or the most before buying a bowling ball? Is it A, your pro shop, B, YouTube, and I'll just say C, other, because there was too many other ones. So like a friend or other or whatever. So
you could do like three. You do PBA and friends.
Yeah,
CB.
or like watching PBA or whatever. But like, just put that in the comments real quick because I want to see what you guys say. But the what do you guys think? I think I might have told you already. What do you guys think the overwhelming response was? That and you don't be afraid to offend Anthony, by the way, because I know there's a lot of Anthony
YouTube for sure.
Haters.
Anthony haters. No, but customers here in the chat.
YouTube ball reviews had to have been the overwhelming winner.
Overwhelming. It was disgusting. Yeah. It made me sick to my stomach.
I'd definitely trust any PSO over somebody I don't know throwing a bowling ball on the internet.
Have you seen some of these YouTubers throw the ball?
No.
Dude.
I don't. I'm
not talking about the pros that have YouTube channels. I'm talking about
the randoms that just
that are quote
enjoy
unquote
bowling.
staffers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to get your guys' take on that and see what you guys thought about YouTube being the overwhelming choice before buying a ball.
Juice. You're gonna
What is the other goat juice? Yeah, you can't just say other without elaborating.
Well, you literally told him the right other.
Well, other, but like tell us what it is.
Yeah.
All bar
reviews look the same.
Thank you, James. I love it.
That's debatable for me, at least.
Well, there are some good ones that they show you some different guys. They'll show you like low rev, middle rev, high rev.
I don't care about any of that.
Okay, I'm just telling you. He says they all look the same, but
they don't. To me, they don't because I'm looking. I turn it on mute.
Okay, that doesn't tell me, or that they don't have to talk. I'm talking about literally showing you a low rev guy.
Sure, I just want to see someone throw it. You know what I mean? I just want to see it go down the lane and how it works. because then I can determine myself if they show me the layout, whatever, but I can determine if the ball, most people show you their information now. When they show you the ball, you can tell if the ball's forward, if it's slow, if it's quick, if it's clean, is it early. I can tell. It doesn't really matter if they throw it good or not because you can usually just kind of figure it out.
But time out for a second, because
For
here's
Chimpanzilla,
the reason there's a difference between a pro shop operator and the average person that's buying a ball, because the average person that's buying a ball comes to you and says, I want I'm looking at a ball, a hammer effect. And then you that's watched them throw 100 games says, just so you know, that ball will not work for you. I'm just making this up, obviously, as a scenario. And they're going to say, well, I watched it on YouTube and I think it's a really good ball. And then you're going to say, I'll drill you whatever you want, but I don't think that will work for your game.
That happens.
I know, all the time.
Yeah.
But they're basing it off of a YouTube video rather than trusting their pro shop guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
because you watch their game, you know how they throw it, but they're saying, well, look at it on YouTube. It goes down the lane and it hooks a lot and it strikes every single time they show it on the video.
Well, then when it doesn't work, I just drill them another one.
My point is, though, how do you just not trust the guy in the shop that watches you bowl in person?
Some people just, I don't think they distrust. I think
they just like watching YouTube videos and they see that big hook zone and they say, I want that ball.
Well, I think it's just I think people just, when they look it up and it corners hard down lane, that's what people like. You know what I mean?
James, I see your point here. He says, I've watched my game more than anyone. Who would know more? I don't know what you know, so that's not about your game, but like what I would say is like maybe you know a lot about layouts and stuff, so you might know as much. I could be talking to a bowling genius. What I'm saying is for people that don't know about layouts and how their game matches up to certain cores and covers, those people are the people that shouldn't be buying bowling balls off of YouTube videos. Like I just said to Anthony, he watches YouTube videos to see how the ball rolls, and somebody like Anthony probably has a good idea off of that video. But for the 95% of bowlers out there, probably should not be buying a bowling ball off of YouTube.
Well, that's why I watch them, so I can figure out. So when people ask me about them, I kind of have an idea.
Exactly, but you are the guy in this room.
Yep.
That's my point.
Oh.
I like James.
He thinks highly of himself.
I think he's a radical guy.
Oh, yeah? He's radical? He's
Am I
rad?
right?
I don't know.
No, I was just wondering because he says he likes the Throwbot video. So I wonder if he's a radical man.
I don't know. They're all Brunswick anyway.
Yeah, but it's radical. But radical's videos are Throwbot.
Yep.
It's Throwbot.
Anyway, all I'm saying is I can't believe that the vast majority of people trust YouTube. That's all I'm saying. Although that's how the world is now.
Yeah, but
bowling aside, people don't want to talk to anybody, so they just want to think that they can,
let me ask you
fix their car or do whatever, based off of YouTube.
Let me ask you a question. If I watch, and I'm the average person, and I want a new ball, so if I want to look between an attention star and a phase 2, and I can go through, that's just what's on the wall here, or a hammer effect or an emerge, and we go through and we look at what's going on with the balls in the review, and I say, wow, that hammer effect, really is angular down lane. I can see how hard it cuts compared to the emerge. Say the emerge is sanded. Then I go in my shop and say, well, I want this ball. I like how it hooks hard, but I want to hook earlier. Well, then maybe that's how they do it. I don't know if they literally say, oh, I watched that ball look good on YouTube. That's the one I need. Because I normally what I do for people, if they come in and are looking for a ball, I know it's a little different here. I will tell them to go to YouTube, but I'll give them 4 or 5 options. I'll give them a Storm option. I'll give them Brunswick option. Not usually Motive unless it's like a Venom Shocker or Jackal Ghost. But I'll say, oh, you want something like your Attention Star? Okay, well, you want something different? Okay, go look at it. But you want something symmetrical? That's shiny? Okay, look at an Ethos and a Sublime and look at a Stealth Pearl and then go look at a Summit Peak. And then they'll go to the internet and 90% of the time they'll say, oh, I like the way this one looked. And I'll be like, okay, well, those are the ones I recommended in a sense.
But they all were kind of similar. So It's kind of like you're giving
Well-
them all the same ball option. Not really, but like kind
Yeah.
of.
Welcome to the addiction. Go Juice.
Yeah, they're all the same ball in a sense, but at the same time, they're all a little bit different. Like
Yeah.
the
But they're
Sublime to
they're
Summit
basically
Peak.
taking your advice at that point. But
Yeah, the Summit Peak and the Sublime, I could
super
Summit Peak-
close, but
the Summit Peak's a little rollier.
Yeah.
And then you got your hammer effect versus your quantum evo response. It looks like your evo response is a little bit more forward, and the hammer effect to me is a little bit cleaner. So okay, so there's those two,
yeah,
and
that
they're both
thing
shiny.
rolled good.
And then you got a phase 2, and then like a idle optimum idle. Okay, well, the phase 2 is going to be a little cleaner, a
Definitely.
little more shape because it's an older cover versus your optimum is a newer cover. So
Snow tire.
So I sent those two home, and they don't know the difference. They're like, oh, they both look kind of good. I said, okay, well, do you want the ball to hook a little earlier, or do you be stronger in the front part of the lane, or do you want to have a little bit more down lane hook? 90% of my players are going to pick down lane hook anyways. So then I say, okay, you're going to want phase
they
2.
want a hockey stick.
Exactly.
Right.
Did that make sense?
Oh, I get it. I'm just saying,
I think a lot of
F YouTube.
I'm
Okay.
thinking
I like YouTube.
I'm thinking there's a good amount of PSOs out there that if someone walks in and says I want this ball, they just order it.
Well, your job is to sell a
Yeah.
bowling ball. So if a
Yeah.
guy says, I want to buy 4 bowling
But, like,
balls, here's the
what
ones
I'm
I
getting at
want.
is like all that extra stuff you do. I think there's a large majority of PSOs that don't go that extra mile.
I mean, it all depends.
I don't know. I
think
can't
in
say that
today's
because I
game,
don't know
maybe
a lot
not.
of them, but I know that at least a good handful around here are pretty decent.
I think it's hard not to in today's game because there's so much information on YouTube
mhm.
that like you can go to J.R. Raymond and he's like, if they don't do this, don't go there.
Right. They will. They base. There's a lot of guys, like you just said. They will tell you they need to measure your PAP. They need to watch you throw the ball.
Yeah.
They need to look at your arsenal. Like they will say that they need to do all of those things before they even drill you the ball. So there's these guys that just are, one night a week league bowlers that'll be like, why don't you measure my PAP? Which I mean, you need to do that a lot of times to lay out a ball. But point being, it's crazy buying balls off of YouTube. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um,
I do try to do all that stuff too. It's just, 99% of my bowlers who come here, I've known them for like a million years. So I know exactly how they
Yeah.
bowl and what they've had and stuff like that.
James, we have definitely covered all of that in our past seasons, but we can definitely plan to
Heck
bring it
yeah.
up.
Kyle doesn't like when we
Absolutely.
talk about that stuff because
I
it's boring.
I didn't
he
say
says.
that. It's just that when we talk about a lot of technology stuff, you know
We
what our
can-
numbers do? They go.
We can bring it up. We can bring it up next week when we talk about nationals again.
Yep. All right. Well, guys, we have gone way over time. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for chatting with us. James, we'll bring it up next week. And as long as you're here chatting with us, we'll make it worth everyone's while. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel. Nick and I have a big night tonight to hold our first place position,
Hope you lose 5.
which you guys can check on Tonight We Bowl that Austin produces every week. Do not touch me. So check that out. It gets released every Wednesday, Thursday-ish.
Used to be Sunday. You remember that?
I do. Then it was Monday. Then it was
Then it was
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Now it's Wednesday, Thursday. Anyway, check out Tonight We Bowl on this Downlane Podcast YouTube channel. And you can see Nick and Kyle taking first place. Austin in a close second. Anyway, you can
forget about
email
me.
us at downlanepod@gmail.com. Anthony, if you even tried to be in the video, we would include you.
I thought you were talking about like first and second place.
Oh, where are you?
I'm like 5th.
Oh.
6th.
And 10 points out.
No, I'm not actually. By the way, if you have any layout questions, just provide your information and shout out to Mike,
What are you talking about?
guy that I gave an answer to.
Oh, yeah. Lefty Mike.
Lefty Mike.
Lefty Mike. Thank you to Brian for today. Brian LeClaire. Good luck. He's headed out to tour soon. So thank you, Brian, for helping me out today.
Hit them good this year.
And thank you to Jack Scaccia, proprietor of Town and Country Lanes here at the lab. Thank you to Austin Van Buren. Good show tonight. And to my family, Stephanie, Zach, and Ethan.
Jam bread. You made a mistake like the Rock did. Remember, I'm working on it. That's what I was doing.
We will see you guys next week. This is Downlane Podcast.